Welcome back, guys. Automotive Inc. here. Appreciate you guys always tuning in, checking out the content. Today is probably going to be the most humbling video I've ever made in regards to my fault for what happened, something that could have happened, that could have been tragedy, even death on my behalf, and where Chevy really came in and saved the day. And Kong, I know a lot of you guys have thought that I might trade it up on a diesel to keep content moving on the channel, but I think this truck has a lot to prove, and it proved a lot just this last Sunday to me, and that's where we're heading with this video. But Kong is not going anywhere. I have a strong love for this truck, and I'm not a Chevy fanboy necessarily, but after driving this for a while and towing with it, it just keeps proving more and more valuable to me as a consumer. I think when we all go out there and we spend our hard-earned cash on something, we want to know dependability, safety, and can the truck perform in certain situations they didn't even think of when they built it. I mean, when manufacturers go out and build a vehicle or whatever they're building, I think their best intent is not to build a piece of trash or something crappy. I think they're all striving for something. They're all trying to be as cheap as they can, but when somebody comes in and engineers this, or they engineer anything a part of the vehicle, and then you have the people at the plants that are assembling them, and other than people maybe having a bad day, or maybe there's a disgruntled person along the line that something happens or it's not put together tightly, I think in general I try and find the best, or like to think that the people are actually trying to do their best out there. I know I do when I try and go to work, but stuff happens sometimes, I guess, where we always could have done better. But I always try and say a shout out, especially on the Ford trucks, Kentucky plant where the Super Duties are, Missouri, Kansas City where they build the F-150. Today I'm going to give a shout out. Shout out goes to the Flint Assembly Michigan plant. This is built with pride since 1947. And guys, Chevrolet, BMW, I'm going to be talking a lot about your product today. And I think you guys and Ford and everybody should go and find these unique circumstances where your product went above and beyond, and have customers testament on that, because I would do that for you. In this circumstance, I'm here today because of Kong, because of my Chevy Silverado 2500 HD truck, because of the multi-flex tailgate, because of the BMW hitch. But really, at the end of the day, the smallest player in the game, the multi-flex tailgate, saved the day. And I'm telling you, when most of us consumers use a product like that, we think, hey, that's cool, that's neat. Some people think it's a gimmick. Hell, I thought it was a gimmick at first, because I was like, I don't need that. But every time I go open that tailgate, there's something else I can figure out to use and how to use it and get the job done. Most of us just use it to carry the load, carry 2x4s, to step on it to get up. But Sunday morning, this Chevy Silverado saved my life. So guys, as a truck driver, I always try and leave early if I can. There's less traffic on the road, there's less stress, there's less heat, there's less everything. And so Saturday night, I hooked up our little test. If you've seen any of the other videos, our little 15,000 pound trailer when it's all loaded up. That little trailer has about an 1,800 pound pin weight. Now guys, just to shore things up for you, this is a fifth wheel plate, whether it's on a semi-tractor or what it's in your truck, okay? This is a fifth wheel plate. The kingpin is what's on your trailer. And it comes up in here, and the way this BMW works is once it slides in there, it closes itself, the arm comes down, you drop your pin in here, lock it up, put your emergency brake light on there, and you're good to go. Okay, so not to be confused, a lot of people just synonymize this. They're like, oh no, that's a kingpin hitch. No, it is not. The kingpin is on the trailer. This is a fifth wheel hitch only. So, got everything hooked up Saturday. Everything seemed fine. And I don't know if kids on the block were messing with it. Maybe I missed a step, guys. But at some point, this pin right here had worked itself out. Now I always come up with my system is once the trailer's hooked up, I at least put the pin in, and that's whether it's a bumper pull or whatever, because I know that if I forget every other step, this cannot come loose from the truck. And this was loose. And what had happened is after about 130 miles, this pin had worked its way out. I never put it in upside down because then gravity can just help it if this is loose. Maybe I missed it. Maybe somebody undid it. But it's all my responsibility, guys. As a captain of your ship, you're responsible to check the hitching, check your tires. And I know a lot of guys are like, man, I wish I had a 90-gallon gas tank I could cruise across America, because you can drive like I can drive. You can do that. But there's a reason why they don't necessarily keep you in the vehicle that long, and whether it's because of EPA restrictions, whatever, I don't know why they have the size of gas tanks they choose to do. Maybe it's just the way it works out, but nonetheless, stopping for a reason like fuel is the perfect opportunity for you to check your pins, check your tires, check your brakes, check your lights, make sure the door's not flopping open the back end. Make sure there's nothing come loose, because in the Colorado roads and a lot of other states, the roads are crap. Your tow behinds take a beating. But really, I didn't do that. I got up at 3 a.m. on Sunday, loaded up, checked the lights, and headed on down the road. And when I got out there, that pin came loose. And I started hitting a bump. And what had happened is, without that pin in there, just the bouncing of the road, this came open. Guys, all I heard was a thunk. I didn't even know, because it was still pitch black outside. I look in the rearview mirror, I check my mirrors, the trailer's right behind me. I have no clue what the heck's going on. I thought I blew 3 tires. That's how loud the boom was. And my mind couldn't comprehend that the trailer was sitting about 4 inches lower than normal. Because the tonneaus on there, everything looked right. I let my foot off the throttle and started easing to the shoulder. I didn't jam on the brakes. I didn't do anything crazy. I came to a slow, controlled stop. Guys, this pickup stayed dialed in. The front end didn't get light. It didn't even skip when that extra weight came down with the force. It came to a controlled stop. No skidding, no bumping, the truck rode so smooth. Like, again, I had no idea what had even happened. Now, usually that's not the case. Usually when your trailer comes loose, it's on its way down the road somewhere other direction, heading into somebody else's family's, business. This trailer stayed right behind me. And I'm going to show you something that's probably going to blow your mind. So guys, after the fifth wheel came down, the shear weight of that pin weight came right down the bed rails. No damage to the bed. Now I can tell you this, on the Fords with the solid aluminum bed, the whole bed's basically aluminum. You drop even something crazy in there, it'll tear the bottom of the floor. This thing did not waver. My backflip rails got crushed from the weight of the trailer. And I took this panel off because I'm going to show you guys some other stuff here. That kingpin came off this fifth wheel hitch and it hit right there. It crushed this lower piece of this aluminum. It crushed the whole top of the bed there. This bed cap was trashed. It had big bulges of plastic sticking up. But because this tailgate stopped that, and I think if this was just a standard tailgate, I can't tell you how it would do, because I've never in my life experienced something like this. But because this multi-flex tailgate stopped that kingpin, I let off the throttle. Momentum then and gravity then carried the trailer forward to where it bumped the B&W hitch right there. It bent the plate up, and then just sheer gravity shoved it up under that lip and hooked the trailer in. Now if this truck rode rougher or whatever, it could have came loose again, but this truck just stayed solid. It is not bouncy down the road. And it crushed it all. Now, because the truck handled it so well, I was actually able to, in the dark, chalk the trailer, see what the hell happened. I found no evidence that the pin was damaged. Obviously, it can't even shear itself the way the mechanism's built, so it's my fault. And I was able to put the jacks down the trailer and get the get it all hooked back up. And the tailgate, other than being trashed, still functioned. You know, for the most part, and I'll show you what didn't. I was blown away. So Chevy, GM, the engineering team that designed this tailgate, God bless you. Praise God for giving me the skill to slow down, right, not freak out. That's also another thing that can cause accidents. But if this tailgate didn't do that, my trailer's making a mess of everything. So thank you, God, for that, looking out for me. And thank you, Chevy, for over-engineering a tailgate that you never even intended for that purpose. You thought people were just going to be stacking 2x4s on it and, you know, climbing up into bed. This stopped a 15,000-pound object. And then the overbuilt quality of your frame and your suspension kept it all in tune, locked in. Let me show you what it did to the tailgate. So it kind of trashed these right here. This had a big, huge hole in it right here. This had some really deep gouges in it. I took off the cover to show you guys. So this piece couldn't bend anymore. This piece wouldn't come up because this was all crushed in. This is aluminum. 99% of this tailgate, I believe, to be aluminum. Thick aluminum nonetheless, but this whole piece was crushed in. So you can see all these little pockets here, where therefore you can see my little marks here, where I was using my body tools, and it crushed all this. So this wouldn't go up, but the functionality of the tailgate was still there. Now I will tell you this much, the actual pieces where the latches come around are actually made out of some type of composite or plastic. They didn't break. So when I got home, and thank you, Dad, for teaching me some of the body tool stuff. I am not a body man, but I do have the tools. I've done body work. I've rebuilt stuff. I was able to take this off, which is just held on by double-sided tape and retainer plastic pieces that are molded part of this. I was able to bend this back. Now guys, usually if it's bent, it's done. It's trash. And sometimes you can fix it, but the functionality is not as good. I was able to bend this back, get this all back in working order. And matter of fact, once you put this back on it, other than this gouge right here, you can't even tell that anything was wrong. This, I was actually able to take a torch and a putty tool and mold the plastic back in and sand it down. And this was all bulged up. I didn't think it was gonna be the aluminum structure underneath it was all twisted and crushed. I was able to pull that out with body tools and fix it. I also took the putty tool to here, fixed it. The tailgate's fully functional again. So I'm telling you this, guys. I'm not saying your standard tailgate won't do that. God, I hope you never even have to find out. And I know some people were trying to grow the channel, but Kong is not going anywhere. This truck exceeds my expectations every day. And for my purposes, a gas truck does really well. But this video was not to talk about, diesels versus gas. This is to talk about the unsung heroes at the plant. The guys that designed this little crease in here to improve, fuel efficiency or aerodynamics or whatever. The people that designed that multi-flex tailgate. I want you guys to go out, have a beer on me, call me, and I'll send you a check to take care of that. Or if you don't drink beer, have some milk, whatever you do, I don't care. But thank you, Chevy. Thank you, engineering team that did that. I want to say thanks to my dad, who's no longer with us, but for teaching me a lot of the stuff that was able to help fix that. I want to thank all the people out there that trained me along the way to drive the way I do these days. And I want to thank God, because all of those things that day were working together for me. And I'm still here. Test is still here. The trailer actually has very minimal damage. I'll be able to fix that little thing in it. But everybody along the way is part of this truck, part of the world, part of the universe, part of my life, helped me that day. And guys, if I can say one thing other than hell yeah, Chevy, call me, let's talk, let's shake hands. Check your stuff. Check check your hitching. Check it once, check it twice. I remember when I was a kid, my dad always said, he's like, get out and check it. I checked it. Get out and check it again. And I'd check it again. Even though I was annoyed, there was something underlying to it. And that one time I don't recheck it, it could have been bad. So it's a reminder that I'm not the only one out there. It's my part to make sure I'm safe. And I'm doing my part to make sure you guys are safe. And just past that, that's all I can control. And again, everything just worked so well that day. And this truck, it ain't going nowhere. Not for a while. And if it did, it would just be another Chevy with that same damn tailgate. Guys, if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button down there in the corner. And thanks again for listening today. And be safe out there. Later.